It is Friday Live, and I am Tracey Barrett with the Focus on Nova Real Estate team, and this is Lynn, also part
Good
of...
morning. Focus on Nova. I'm so excited. I didn't have to wear a coat today.
I know, I didn't either. I was a little cold, but I was like, I'll muscle through. It'll be fine.
know.
What can go wrong?
Yeah.
So we had a really great week this week. I'm not going to lie. Just
Yeah.
work-wise, it was really, really good.
So much happening.
So much
happening this week. We got a lot done.
A lot done. The Kristen Lane listing ended up with well over 40 showings. We ended up with 3 really strong offers and ended up having a ratified fantastic offer with a backup offer ratified as well.
Mm-hmm.
So those sellers, I mean, God, they called me back in 2018 asking about flooring suggestions, did it, renovated, enjoyed it for a year, and sold. So that was fabulous.
Yeah.
And then I ratified, or we're about to ratify, a new home build down in Woodbridge. You had a banner week and like unicorn week.
Oh my God, I know. So we had. I am so happy for one of my buyer clients. So we just started looking. Literally have been out for 2 weeks looking. It is a young gentleman. He's doing a VA loan. I mean, this is unbelievable, and I had to tell him multiple times, like, I just want to be very clear. This is not normal. I was like, in this market. We were out, we looked at, for 2 weeks, we were looking at places, put in his very first offer, a VA loan. We won the offer. It was multiple offers. We didn't have to escalate. We got them to even though they wanted to close sooner, I got them to actually push the timing back on settlement so it works better for my client at no extra kind of thing.
Without any type
So
of
it was,
crazy.
I was so happy for him, was able to get that done. But yeah, other thing this week. So last week I closed on 2 different properties, have a closing coming up this coming week, another closing the week after.
Right.
Home inspections tomorrow. Held the Kristen Lane open house on Sunday, met 2 wonderful buyers that hopefully I'll be working with.
Yep.
I mean, I met multiple people.
It
was insane how many people came through the open house.
I had a lot of neighbors come by on Saturday, and it was really great just listening to them reminisce about the neighborhood and how great it was, and just super great connecting with people and networking. It was great.
Yeah.
But we have more to come on our listings, but enough about that. Let's talk about what's going on this week. So, biggest thing in my world was my niece, and for those of you with the littles, look at this little one here. She started kindergarten this week. She's officially a kinder and was so excited to have in-person kindergarten. Here's day 2 of going, and I'm really not sure who's more excited about her being front and center on kindergarten. Elizabeth herself, and there she is eating waffles or chocolate chip pancakes with chocolate chip on her lip yesterday morning with her French braids that she had her mom do, my sister do, at 5:30 in the morning. School didn't start till 9:15
but she
or
was
45,
that excited.
but she was that excited.
That's
but
cute.
I think mommy was even more excited to have her go to school.
I'm gonna put it on the fact that the parents have more joy because they know, as opposed to the kids just excited, but the parent has that more like
perspective
and
and
to
frankly,
what that means.
Quiet.
I know.
The zen of it all. All right, so what's going on in the world today? Talk to us.
Yeah,
Lynn.
so we've the past couple times we've talked for some reason a lot about Dulles Airport and what comes through Dulles Airport. Well, what happened this week coming through Dulles Airport was El Chapo's 31-year-old wife, who was actually arrested on Monday at Dulles Airport, and she's being held at the Alexandria Detention Center, and she was arrested on drug conspiracy charges.
Amazing.
So yeah, so I was like, oh, well, there is a lot of stuff that comes through Dulles
Kudos
Airport.
to TSA and the feds on that apprehension. Yeah. That's a big one.
Yes. Other stuff that we have happening is, happened earlier this week. Virginia this week became the 23rd and first southern state to do away with the death penalty.
Yes.
So that is big news. I feel like there's a lot has changed in Virginia over the past decade. So,
it has.
So that's just kind of the latest thing that has happened. Very sad note for those of you in the boating world or that kind of take advantage of the
Potomac
the
River.
water along the Eastern Shore. Tim's River Shore restaurant is closing. So
yeah, there is a huge push on that one, and there is a major social media campaign to try to lobby to keep them open. But
Yeah.
I don't know how successful they're going to be with that.
Yeah, so what happened is Potomac Shores is the development that's going in. Now, if you're familiar, we're actually going to be diving into the Potomac Shores area on our development update coming in April.
Yes, 2 months. Yes.
April, no, March.
March.
April will be the Dulles area. But
Yes.
so we're going to dive into Potomac Shores. But it is a massive development right along the Eastern Shore down in the Woodbridge Dumfries area. Tim's River Shore used to own the land that it was on. After the hurricane in 2003 for funding and stuff, they actually sold it back to the developer, which has since it has gone through multiple hands for developers. But Potomac Shores is not renewing their lease. So that is why they are going to be shutting down. But they will be open weekends through the end of March after 28 years.
So go get your seafood. Go get your seafood. Get the last of the local lore there. That was one where it kind of took me by surprise, and I know it's sad. I'm watching all the reminiscing happening.
I know. I was actually really surprised when I saw it. So
no doubt.
Yes. So those of you who are traveling, starting next month, both National and Dulles are going to have the COVID testing sites in the airport. So you're going to be able to do both rapid testing and the PCR testing. A lot of insurance companies will cover this. However, just know that, if you're in a rush and you decide not to do it through your insurance company at the time, it's going to be about $200 for the rapid test and about $75 for the PCR test.
That's good to know.
But it's good to have it there. It's expensive. So, but you know what though? I was looking at getting rapid testing done a while ago, not because I thought I had anything, but there was something where we thought coming up for one of our kids to participate, they were going to need to show that they were negative. So I was looking, and even not at the airport or at the other place, it was like $195 for the rapid test. So it's not far off from the other pricing.
It's definitely fair. And in contrast to that, I was able to get a next day appointment for Eric, who was feeling a little under the weather. He's fine. And long story short, then we went to CVS drive-through. It was the PCR. We had it back in 24 hours. It was a non-issue, and that was free.
Yeah.
So
on the art world, so Cinetic Theater, which is over in Arlington, has launched a streaming service. So this is actually something they've been doing some stuff virtually since COVID hit, but this is something that they've wanted to do. The owners have had this vision, and it just really pushed them forward. So it's where they started like their own film production company. So Cinetic Motion Pictures. So that is launching, and that'll be really interesting. So it's not like it's not the typical virtual setting to where you're watching a stage performance. It's an actual their new film production arm of Cinetic, so that's really cool.
Yeah. Pickleball.
Did you know that pickleball is the fastest growing sport in America?
I only know that because the Algebra 2 tutor, shout out Miss Sue, she is an avid pickleball fan and cannot wait for these to open. So carry on.
So
tell us the deets.
There are 3.3 million pickleball players in the nation, and Chantilly area just in October opened what I think is the first area facility called Pickleballers. And so that's open now, but however, there is going to be another option because out in Ashburn, later this fall, the Ashburn Senior Center, which is going to be a 15,000 square foot senior center being built over off Marblehead Drive, is going to have some pickleball courts as well.
Well, obviously with 3+ million people interested in pickleball, those are going to be well attended.
Yes, yeah.
They're not all right here, but still.
Yeah, and it was, and because I can't ever just read something and leave it alone, so I dug a little bit into pickleballing.
Yeah.
Why not? And so it was really interesting. So what happened was it was two men, and I might mess up a little bit here because I'm trying to do it off memory. Two men were somewhere with their kids that were bored, so they made these like paddles. They were like, here, take this, go do something. And the kids were just playing around with these little paddles on like a badminton court or something like that.
Yep.
And they were calling the kids to come back, but they weren't and they could hear them laughing and doing whatever. So they went over and the dads got into it. And so they just started making up rules, and hence
I'm pretty
became
sure
pickleball.
that that's how.
Everything happens.
Yeah, everything happens. That's how Beersby happened, which was later that thing that Mr. Berta over at the elementary school made the kids do on field day, where you take a pole with the bottle and you got to knock it off with the frisbee. Anywho, great things happen when you're bored.
Yeah.
Last but not least, let's talk Fairfax County Tax Assessment.
We had some shocks.
Yeah, so
we
check your
opened ours.
mailboxes. Fairfax County just mailed out your tax assessments on average. Commensurate with the real estate market, I might add, everything popped up about 4.25% on average. Your tax assessments went up. So I know personally that means annually my bill went up about $500. So on the one hand, while we are seeing appreciation in the real estate market, the county is also going to take their pound of flesh.
Right.
So look at that, see what's there. And budget accordingly. It is February going on March. Your taxes will be due in June, and you will see an increase in what is due.
Yep.
So let's get into the week. Again, there's Elizabeth starting kindergarten as we move forward. So what happened this past week? Again, it was a busy, busy week as we talked about. Most important, I've had so many conversations this week as I've been talking to people, whether it was at the open houses that we held this weekend or just in my general networking and day-to-day conversation. We presented the market stats last week, again, back on February 12th. Tom Ferry and Keeping Current Matters dove deep into the forbearance, the pent-up inventory for those properties that are potentially going to go to foreclosure or could go to foreclosure. And this is where the big conversation is are we in a bubble? I encourage you to go to the Focus on Nova YouTube channel or our Focus on Nova webpage, Hot and Fresh News Market Update. Got that? And check it out. If you go to the 10-minute mark on that, you're going to see us talk for about 10 minutes, complete with slides and data from Keeping Current Matters, talking about why this is totally different than the 2008 crash and rise and bubble, or other way around, the rise and then crash, and why this is a totally different scenario, as well as, even though you're hearing super scary numbers as well, over 2 million people are in forbearance, the good news is just about 90% of those folks have worked out repayment and or pulled out of those with a positive outcome, meaning they're not going to go to foreclosure. And nationally speaking, when you're looking at an average of 250 homes in a forbearance situation, right now we're at about 325,000 homes. Great data. Check it out. And if you have further questions, definitely hit Lynn and I up. We're happy to talk about it.
Yep. And real quick, we mortgage. If you're in the buyer's market, mortgage rates are rising. So make sure to check in with your lender to see how that's affecting you, especially if you haven't locked in yet. But that's, I mean, and again, that kind of gets into what we talked about last week. You know, with the, you know, that being expected. People are going to freak out because they're like, oh my gosh, they're rising. They are, even if they rise, they're still within historic lows. So it is going to affect some people, especially if they were really looking at that to bump them up into a higher price point bracket. But definitely if you're a buyer, get in touch with your lender if you haven't locked in to find out how this is going to affect you.
Right. So to put that in actual number terms, what was at a 2.3, 2.5% interest rate on a conforming loan, those are now popping up. I mean, we literally just got off the phone with one of our lender friends, and he's now saying that those have basically gone up an entire percentage point. So now we're at the 3%, 3.5% price points. Still historically low. Normal is, 6 to 7 to 8%. So we're still there, but we are seeing with the volatility in the bond market a pop up in interest rates. So if you were considering it and an interest rate is a priority, now is the time to try to correct that. And if you were there, make sure your buying power is still there.
Yes.
So more fun. Let's talk fun.
So last week we also touched on color trends. I don't feel like I'm giving it away, but so Pantone is the authority when it comes to color trends, both for home design, fashion, anything you can
graphic
think of
design,
that you put color on. And I personally was not super thrilled with the colors of the year. I mean, I love me a good yellow. Don't get me wrong.
I'm not going all yellow.
But
I'm not going all in on yellow.
No, I do little. Actually, in my house, I have some accents of yellow.
My bath towels are bright yellow to go with my gray and my espresso. You know?
Right. But we also dug into, some of the other big, especially the paint lines, so focusing on more the home colors. And it definitely has kind of like a desert aura, which I feel is a really beautiful color palette. So talking those burnt oranges, those teals, their blues, and Sherwin Williams, excuse me.
Sherman, he's a great guy. Sherwin Williams, he's a great guy.
Sherwin Williams. Theirs is the only one who really went that deep color, and it's this urban bronze, and I'm not gonna lie, I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of nice and a little refreshing to break out and get a little warmer again. We've been gray for a while.
Yes.
So we'll see what picks
check
up.
out all those different color schemes. On there we have not only their color of the year, but like the color palettes and stuff like that. So if you're thinking
there
for a change.
So all of this can be found on FocusOnNova.com, Hot and Fresh News, any of those posts that are there. You can go back and see the archive as well as diving deep into our color trends, into our social media feeds. Pop this up. Speaking of lending and what can go on, we take every week one of our listings, dive deep into what you can get for at a certain price point, and then we have a lender break it down, or ourselves break it down into 5%, 10%, and 20% down. Check it out for $750 on Kristen Lane. Mm-hmm. Ed Jones is
who's going to be here with us next week.
No, 2 weeks. The 12th.
The 12th. Sorry.
The 12th. He'll be there on the 12th.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So tax implications of selling your home. Check that out if you're worried about the tax implications. This is a great talk that he gives, and it's very high level. And he's happy to talk about it more with you if you have further questions. But more importantly, when he's here on the 12th, he's going to talk about the 1031 exchange. So for those of you who are investors who have a rental investment property and then would like to sell it and then reinvest it in another, there's a tax shelter there, and that has changed.
Yes.
A brand new law has been signed, and that has changed, and he's going to get into that. So what to look forward to this coming week. Things to do. Maura is pulling it together. Things to do in March. So as we come in like a lion and out like a lamb, check it out, because we've got indoor, outdoor, and all kinds of things to do online and in person in March coming towards you. Super cute listing. Again, diving into what you get for, not to do a big spoiler alert here, but at $300,000 right next to Greenbrier, you can get a 2-bedroom, 2-bath renovated unit.
Just renovated for the market.
Right, like never been used cabinets. You can be in this place with anywhere from 5% to 20% down for carrying costs of $1,750 to $1,850 a month. So if you are paying rent, stop the madness. This is how you get into the market. Look at that. Look at the details and see what's there.
And we're going to be there.
Yes, we're going to. That's later in the slideshow.
I know. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert for later. All right. So next.
Yeah. So we are, with the spring coming up, spring break, summer months, or whatever, people are looking for those next reads. What's coming out. So we're going to be talking to some different independent bookstore owners to find out what are their expected top reads for the upcoming season, what they're seeing not only in their sales, but what they are really excited to get into their stores. So we'll be talking about that, but then also obviously spotlighting those independent bookstores, because we want to make sure that we're celebrating and supporting our community.
Our locals. Got to keep them local.
Yeah.
All right, so upcoming specific events that our team is sponsoring. Super important to do this. All right, number one, that cute little condo at $300,000 that the carrying costs are estimated to be between $1,750 and $1,850 a month. We're holding several open houses. Join us right here, Facebook Live, again, from 1:30 to 2 on Saturday and Sunday. I'll be doing Saturday. Lynn's doing Sunday. This house is listed at $299,999. It's like a gas station. But it has been renovated. New cabinets, new quartz countertops, new carpet, fresh paint throughout, new vanities, new flooring, luxury vinyl planking in both the kitchen and both bathrooms.
It's super
Condo
cute.
fee is super reasonable in the mid 300s. But yeah, join us online Facebook Live from 1:30 to 2 on Saturday and Sunday. And then if you are really compelled to get in there, you can come to the in-person open house from 2 to 4. I've already got 17 appointments on this sucker. I don't think it's going to last very long. We've been getting it ready all week, and really psyched. If you'd like an in-person personal tour, reach out to the team today, and we'll make sure we can get you in there.
Yep.
Mark your calendar for Monday. These have been
Monday.
so popular.
They are.
We have done 2 so far. We usually have about 50 or 60 people on these, and okay, maybe I'm over exaggerating. 40 to 50 people.
Well, when you combine this, because we have that, we're on Zoom, and then we're also streaming on
Facebook Live. We've got Masters Monday. Really excited. We've got Susan Gray from the Fairfax Museum and Visitor Center, and she is going to be diving into Kitty and Kate, or Kate and Kitty rather, women of substance. Both of these women are mother-daughter and had significant impacts during the World War I area right here in Fairfax City.
Mm-hmm.
Kate opened up a women's shelter and home for basically unwed mothers and underserved women right at the turn of the century, while Kitty, and I'm completely blanked on what Kitty did, but join us.
They were activists.
Within the city. And long story short, register, go to, again, our events page, and you can register for Masters Monday joining us, or join us for free right here for the presentation. It's interactive, it's fun, it's Q&A, 7 to 8.
Yep.
We're still educating.
We are. We're still educating people. So we still have, and will continue to have, our different seminars for both home buyers and sellers. We have the Saturday mornings, the third Saturday of every month. We have both a seller and buyer seminar in the morning. Seller at 9 o'clock, buyer at 10:30. We also have happy hour sessions where for buyers we have the second Thursday of every month at 7 o'clock. And then for sellers, it's the third Thursday at 7 o'clock every month. So if you are interested in learning more about buying or selling, or know somebody who is, by all means, have them share the link. You can sign up and register at focusonnova.com/events. And you do have to register through Zoom to be able to get the link to join us to get all of your questions answered.
Yeah, the nice thing about these courses is that you can do this. You don't need to be buying tomorrow or selling tomorrow. Like I said, the one on Kristen Lane, they reached out to me back in 2018 and got advice so that in 2021 we could list. So this is an opportunity, while we have structured curriculum, for you to actually learn and prepare and get things going. And if you think it's really important for you to invest a ton of money to get rid of the crabgrass in your front yard, we might tell you that it's probably a better idea to spend that on renovating your master bathroom. So talk to us. It's an easy way to do it. It is usually free. Last but not least, things to do. Take it away, Lynn.
Sure. So, obviously, honoring Black History Month, the National Museums of African Art is presenting Back Talk, where artists on Native African and African American stereotypes are going to kind of dive in and have a discussion on that. So that is our Black History Month event that we wanted to spotlight. Also, this week there is at the Birchmere
Premature.
At the Birchmere, a tribute to Johnny Cash. So that will be really interesting. This weekend is the last weekend for Wonder Garden après ski party.
What's that?
So it is in Northeast DC.
Okay.
It is it's a beer garden where it's kind of a party. So they have a ski simulator to where you can actually play games and have contests with your friends. I'm
pretty sure Jen Seifert would love that.
But it's not on an actual ski slope. It's a simulator. There's campfires, there's whiskey flights, there's hot chocolate and other hot cocktail drinks and stuff. So this is the last weekend. You can go tonight until 10 o'clock and then Saturday and Sunday noon to 10. So that's really cool to check out. And then also this weekend, Polished Fox is holding a 2-day pop-up at FxCo. So Polished Fox is a catering company. However, why do you want to know about this? So the former chef of Magnolia at the Mill out in Percival, so very known restaurant, very good restaurant.
Delicious.
He's behind the Polished Fox, and think oysters, lobster, all that kind of stuff is what he's focusing on. But he's doing a 2-day pop-up at FxCo. So what is FxCo? FxCo is
Chefscape.
Chefscape is kind of like it's a food incubator, and it's out in Village at Leesburg, and I'm actually going to dive into it a little bit in I don't know,
Later.
Coming up soon. One of our top 3 takeaways. I'm going to be talking about a lot of different food halls and stuff around the Northern Virginia area. But Chefscape is a food incubator in Leesburg, to where it's kind of like a food hall. Different chefs come in and they can do different events out of there. So that's what's happening this weekend for a 2-day pop-up with the Polished Fox.
Delicious.
Yeah. So we had yesterday, so Fairfax County kids had asynchronous learning yesterday. Well, I did a music class with Jude out at the, that is my phone going off, I'm sorry. We did a music class out at Mosby Records yesterday afternoon. We went to the record store. It wasn't an actual music class. We just went shopping for records.
Okay.
Which was fun. And so... So we had an interesting conversation, which we both agreed on, and our agreement was that growing up in the 80s, being, elementary school age in the 80s, high school, teenage years of the 90s, college years in the 2000s, now adult life, we've decided, and my husband agrees, that's the perfect time to grow up, because in the 80s, it was that free spirit, potluck barbecues with the neighbors, running around, not all the social media. In the 90s, I mean, it was just, I had a lot of fun. But then now, even though we're older and adults, we still are young enough to completely be able to understand and get technology, and
yeah, I would
so
say
we've decided that we had the perfect timing
a few
of
years
growing up.
Yeah, I've got you beat by a few years, where I started elementary school in the very early 80s and wrapped up high school by the early 90s. College was fantastic in the 90s, and then I started real life. Right, as technology really took off. Internet really took off.
Yeah.
So, no, I agree. I think it's kind of great. That said, I miss the vinyl. I miss that type of stuff.
But it's all
I miss
back.
going to Tower Records and all of that. So
one of my favorite things. Do you remember
Kent Mill Records over at Fair City Mall?
Yeah. Well, we would go to Tower Records because we went to HF festivals.
Oh yeah.
Loved HF festivals in the 90s, and I remember. I mean, it was an event to go, because not only was it an event the actual day that you went, but to get tickets, you got up early.
Oh, you slept on a sidewalk.
Stood in line and to get those tickets.
At Hex at Fair Oaks Mall.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So we would go to the Tower Records over in Fairfax Town Center.
Yeah, that came later.
Yeah, we would go to there to get tickets, but it was.
It was fun. It was an event. It was like you worked to get there, and it was really great.
Yeah.
It was really great.
It was, yeah. So my child and I agreed that I grew up in a better time frame.
So with that being said, we will now have our premature ending. Catch us here for our open houses this weekend. Stay tuned for all this great information coming forward. Thanks for joining us.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.